Hi, welcome back to Lessons in Property. This week, again, fortunately for us all, we've got Joe Jones. So we're going to talk about 100% development finance in a little bit more detail because a few weeks ago we touched on this and everyone loves 100%, don't they?
Love it, yeah.
Everyone loves getting into projects and developments with very little or no money down. And there are genuine ways to do this, and this is one of them. It's quite a unique scheme, and it's for people that are more of the builder contractor type. If you're a developer without that experience, then you can JV or link up with somebody with that experience. But we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail, along with what criteria is needed to get into these projects. So where we go, how should we kick it off?
Talk about the client first, because it's easier if people know that this is something that they qualify for.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the intricacies of what kind of
that sounds
numbers
great.
need. In terms from a client perspective, like you just mentioned there, if we've got someone who can deliver units themselves or has a building company that can deliver units, if there's a main term to get away from this is, can I deliver units personally? If the answer is yes, then this is definitely something we can look out for. If not, do I have someone within my team, someone who I can JV with that can deliver units? But the main thing is, for this product to be something that you can use is we need to be able to deliver whatever units we're looking at, whether it's a 10 unit scheme, 15 unit scheme, 2 unit scheme, whatever it is. We need to make sure that we can actually construct these units. That's what the client needs. And apart from that, there isn't really that much else. Obviously, they need the experience in that, but they don't need PGs or anything like that. They don't need high net worth.
PGs are personal guarantees, by the way.
Personal guarantees. A lot of builders, it seems, they might have their own house, you know what I mean, and they might have had loads of experience doing projects for other people, but they might not have their own brilliant net worth, which sort of means that they're a bit scuppered with a lot of other development lenders that we use, because a lot of them require, 15, 25% PGs, so that does hinder a lot of people. So the beauty of this product is, don't need any personal net worth really, just need the experience of delivering the unit. So that's all the client needs to bring to the table. Don't need any money, just need the experience and the ability to deliver these units. That's what we need from the client's perspective.
Brilliant. Am I right in thinking that so the scheme can be built out at cost?
Exactly.
And then there's more profit margin in it because the profit margin is split up.
Yeah.
It's typically 50-50, but it can be up to 60-40.
Can be,
in the developer's favour.
Yeah.
Depending on a few factors. Yeah, in relation to the PG side, so if you're borrowing £1 million up to say £10 million, which is the typical range, then a personal guarantee would normally be required 25% of that figure. So that means a net worth of anything from 250 grand up to 2.5 million in that example. Not everybody's got that. So this negates that, doesn't it? So,
yeah, completely gets rid of it. So the lender takes on full responsibility, so to speak, for that type of aspect of the deal. So yeah, brilliant from a client's perspective, because there must be hundreds, thousands, if not, of builders out there. They've got loads of experience doing ground-up developments for other people, and they've always thought, I'd love to have a bit of that myself. Never had the chance to do it because they don't have the financial backing, or like we've just touched upon, they can't get funding from the usual lenders that we would use. You know what I mean? In terms
ground up, you say? It can be conversions as well.
Yeah, sorry, I've just said ground up then, but yeah, they can do conversions as well, as long as, again, the numbers work. There was one that we were looking at for one of our clients the other week, but yeah, as long as the numbers work, they can do conversions or ground up. It just tends to be that the majority of the ones that we do are ground up rather than conversion, but yeah, you can do both.
Yeah, and profit margins, are we able to state a number, the profit against the end value?
Yeah, I'd say sweet spot would be between 22 to 30% profit on cost at the end. This is obviously before finance, but depending on the type of deal that you've got and whether it looks really good, whether it's a really strong project, they can lower the sort of percentage of profit down to like 20 to 22% if they really like the deal, and if the person doing the build is really experienced, they can definitely do things like that. So it's not a clean cut. It has to be within this margin, has to be 26%, has to be 27%, whatever.
Yeah.
Somewhere around about those figures, if we can have a look at the project, assess the merits of it, and by the merits I mean the site, is it feasible, do the numbers work, is it an area where there's a really high demand for that property, because your profit margins might not be amazing, but if in that area, the type of unit that you're building, there's an absolute need for, then it's very likely that whatever you do get, if you are definitely going to get that 22%, whereas sometimes a project might look like you're going to get 30% profit at the end, end. But when you take into account, is there actually a need for those type of units in that area, it might mean there's less certainty that you're definitely going to get that.
Yeah.
So it adds a bit of grey area to the project that you're looking at. So I would say as long as it's somewhere around about 22-23% up to 28 to 30%, those sort of areas are where we can work for a profit at the end before finance costs.
That's profit against GDV, isn't
Profit
it?
against GDV before taking into account the cost of any finance.
No, great. And the term, so the funder wants the developer to be in and out of the project within 18 months, is that right?
So 18 to 24 months, yeah. I don't think we've ever done anything longer than that. And obviously, I could always find out. It tends to be when you're looking at developments that take longer than 2 years, the profits seem to sort of disappear pretty quick with the cost of borrowing money, yeah. So it's very rare that we seem to get those ones. But obviously, with development, 15 to 24 sort of range that you're looking at for timescales like that. So yeah, again, no problem with that. And this lender will help you sell the project as well. So if it does go over a little bit, all that's happening is it's sort of eating into your profit share because you don't have any personal liability towards it anyway. It's all sort of rests on the shoulders of the lender. So if things do take a little bit longer, then the only thing that's happening is your chunk of the profit is sort of decreasing a little bit with time. So obviously try and keep things to the timescales that you need. But it's not the end of the world if it goes over.
And location-wise, the lender's good with England, Wales, Scotland, possibly?
England, Wales, definitely. And if we're looking in Scotland, I mean, this is exactly what they told me before. They need to be a very experienced developer with a very, very good project. And we're talking Edinburgh, Glasgow, or that sort of M8 corridor has to be in that sort of area where there's a very high demand, very good project, very good profit margins with a very experienced client if we are doing those type of things. But again, there's got to be people that fall into that bracket in that area of Scotland, and there's got to be a need for housing in that area of Scotland for the types of projects that this would fund.
Would they consider more affluent areas that are just outside of the M8 corridor, for instance, like, I don't know, around Glen Eagles or around St Andrews, or, sites like that that have got a very strong demand?
I'd say right now probably not, if I was being honest, but there's never any harm in me asking, just because a lot of lenders seem to be focused on Glasgow and Edinburgh, just because of the way that the Scottish market is. But the Scottish market is outperforming the English market at the moment, so that might change in the next 6 to 12 months, and it may mean that they look at projects outside of that area like you just mentioned. So it's worth having a chat with him. You can always let people know. But anyone who's got any type of project in those areas, and even a little bit out, like you said, a bit more affluent, just ring us up, get in touch anyway, and then I can always run it past someone and then get a yes or no. And if it is a yes, then we go ahead. If not, then maybe we get a bit more information as to why it wouldn't be. But I mean, that's what our job is to argue the point with lenders and try and get money for people. So there's no problem doing that.
Middle of the market. Now, I know a while back that they mentioned this point, didn't they, that if it's in an area, say, typical housing in an area might be, I'll just pull a finger out the air, 500, 600,000, but upper end is like £1 million. They don't really want your £1 million type housing. They want that 500-600 sort of.
Yeah, they want always middle of the market, entry level stock is what they want. So they don't want you to have, like you just mentioned, a load of 3-bed semi-detached or terrace properties in an area that seem to be the main type of property, and you're looking to build 4 or 5-bedroom detached that are worth triple what the average house price is, because it's very unlikely that in that area you're going to get such a great demand for those type of properties. All they're thinking about is, we want the type of units that are going to attract the most demand in this type of area. So what does the area need most of? And another way to sort of think about that is, if you're looking to build a specific type of unit, is there a saturation of that unit in the market?
Yeah.
Because if you're looking to build 10-20 flats, whatever that is, or 10-20 2-bed terraces, whatever it might be, and there's already a load of them on the market right now that aren't selling, it's very unlikely that the lender's going to want to get involved in that type of a project, because there's already a saturation of that type of asset in the market and they're not selling.
They want to be in and out, don't they?
In and out.
So hence the 18-month, possibly up to 24-month term, because they want you to be able to build it, construct it inside, say, 12 months, maybe 15 months or so, and then sell them either along the way or allow 3 to 6 months at the end of the construction period to sell those units.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
again, they're away into the next project. And do they still have this where they would fund, say, one scheme, if that all goes well, go into another scheme with you, and then if that all goes well, the third scheme, they sort of open up the floodgates a bit to give you more more funding?
Again, it depends on the project and the type of client. A client who's come with years of experience, loads of net worth behind them, and they can deliver units without any sort of issue. We've got this brilliant track record and the project's brilliant. They may be inclined to give you a bit more, day one or in your first project. But as a general rule of thumb, like you said, get a couple of projects out of the way without any major hiccups. When I say hiccups, there's always hiccups with development anyway.
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to be these perfect, straightforward projects that you have. But as long as we can complete successfully on a couple of projects, they will then allow you to borrow more money because they have got a lot of money to lend for this type of project. I mean, the BDM rings me all the time and says, have you got anyone that can do this? Have you got anyone that can do this? Because they want to lend money at the moment. They've got a real appetite for it. Yeah, it would be good for some people to get in touch, say I've got a project, because we'll do whatever we can to get it going through with them.
Yeah, no, great. I know, like with one of the clients that we've got, he's typically done one project a year of his own because he's been spending time with his team working on other people's sites. So by having this particular 100% finance product available, he can now do at least one additional project a year. So, and as well as that, we're working on bringing investors into his world, so he could do another additional project. Sort of leveraging this facility can massively improve somebody's profit margins in their business, can't it, in any 1 year?
Just frees up so much cash flow so you can focus on other things. Yeah, like I said, if you've got a couple of things on at the moment and you think I've got this other project that I don't want to lose out on because the profit margin's brilliant or whatever the reason might be, then get in touch, because we can, one of those projects we can, if it fits, good way, that's a good way of thinking about it actually. Just thought, if you've got 3 projects and you think I can probably fund 2 of them, but then there's this third one I really want to do, then come to us with all 3 and we'll tell you which one of the 3 fits best with this lender.
Yeah.
And then you can just think, right, we'll go with that lender for that one, and then we'll worry about funding the other 2 in a more traditional way. And then it means that you've got 3 projects instead of 1 or 2, whatever the situation is that you're doing.
Brilliant. Love that, Joe. Joe Jones, source of all knowledge. Thanks, Joe. It's been great.
Cheers, mate.
Until next time, over and out.
Ta-ra.